Hello, welcome to Spy Money. Yesterday I did a video on Spy Money Angular, and going back looking through the video, I left out a few things that I said I was going to cover, and I'm going to go ahead and cover them in this video. Uh, One of which is four instruments. I'm going to do NQ, ES, RTY, and YM. I've already calculated the data just to make the video shorter, so we'll get right into it right now. So let's take a look at it. So the first one we're going to look at is NQ. And with NQ, there's on this particular one, we're using a 40 range, and you can look at the dollar amounts. Now, these potential profits are the max that you can get, because what I did was took the entry to the highest part. Now, you as a trader, you're going to have to decide where your exit plan should be. In the course, when you lease the indicator, I actually go over where you should be doing that. So you'd have a video on showing how to sometimes get a better exit than even on the orange. So the way this works is I'm going to just show you this one here. A lot of people, I trade usually 6 to 9 in the mornings when I usually trade. And with 6 to 9, there's going to be 3 trades I could have gotten. The max would have been 335, 480, and 295. And then I would have been in this one as well, which is 570. So I could be done right here. What I try to look for is about $100 or $1,000 a contract on NQ is what I try to get in profit. So if I'm trading 10 contracts, I'm looking for $10,000 for that day. So if I'm doing 20, whichever. So it depends on how many contracts you're going to change, what your goals are, and so forth. But you can take one contract and easily hit your $1,000 goal on these right here. Even if you took half, that's going to be roughly 150, about 200. There's 350, another 150 is what, 500, and then half of that is 750 or so, and that's only taking half. So we know that we could have got more than half on these. So if you just look for a trade and say you want to do 4 trades, you can just take $300 a trade. You would have hit all of those targets on this except for this one. You've been $5 off. But when this come down and just started kind of floating around, you probably would have gotten out. And maybe you got down close to the 295 and you just went ahead and took the profit. So if you just took $300, you did 4 trades here. They're all winners. This one right here would have been a small loss because when this went up, come down, you hit a long right there. So I did not include that. It's an oversight on my part. The most that you could have made was 105. More than likely, you probably would have stopped out about right here for a few $100 loss on that. So, it's not 100% on any of these. For the most part, your trades are going to be pretty good. Now, let's just say that you didn't trade until a little bit later. Say you're one of those people that like to trade the open. Well, if you did, right here would be 931. So there's 930. You're already in this trade, and if you got in at 906. But if you didn't, you wait for the next signal. The next signal will be here. There's your $1,000 goal. So this one, the max is 1405. It comes up. Let's see where the $1,000 would be. So, and again, this all depends on where you want to be as a trader. So once you got up to 1,000, you could have put your stop there, or you could have just put your profit target at 1,000 and been done. Either way, you would hit your target there. So this indicator does a very good job at getting you in the trades in a good placement. And the way this works is it works off of the angles of moving averages and such. There's a lot of math calculated into this, and it just helps you get in the trade on a more, I won't say guaranteed, but more just a better entry for almost, I can't think of the word, I'm hearing on video. A more confirmed entry, I guess would be the way to say it. So when you have confirmation, a lot more confirmation on this particular trade, it'll actually get you in where you should. Now, when you get in, it's going to be up to you to decide where to get out. You have these long runs here, usually at the open. Usually 5-6 minutes or so after the open is usually a pretty good time for it to go and take off on you. Don't always do that though. As you can see, there's quite a bit of trades right here that you could got. If you're looking for $1,000, you could have got it here, you could have got it there, almost here, and you would have got it there. So if you're just looking for the $1,000 per contract, then you can get those on this particular area. Now, as you go through the day, we all know that around 10 o'clock or so, we start getting sometimes a reversal, sometimes it's going to be more of a trend that it's going to pick at that point, so you can get it there. But what I believe is that you just try to get all your trades in before 10 o'clock and just be done with it. That way you can just let it ride out the rest of the day and you don't have to sit there and watch. Now, if you were, you can pause this video. You can see that there are a lot of other good trades in here. There's several of them that are around $1,000 or so, but when you start going in the afternoon, you usually get smaller stuff. And then at the end of the day, usually around 2 o'clock or so, 2 or 3 o'clock, it'll kind of pick a different trend or the same trend but go. So you can see this was like a lot of chop through here, which is when everything settles down. And then we had our run. Now sometimes it'll sell off there as well. So that's the NQ and how we trade on it. The settings that I have in here, I provide on the website under the course. So whenever you release the angular indicator, you'll get all of these. And you also get invited to a special chat that we have inside our Discord that will allow you to be able to communicate with us, and we can talk about things during the day, what's kind of working and things like that, and it helps out. So I didn't discuss the ES, and ES, I have ES. Naturally, you're not going to make as much on each trade. It's usually about half, but your investment's half as well. So when you look at it that way, it's percentage-wise about the same. So in the morning, these are the trades. This one right here probably would have been a loser for me. I would not have taken that 62.50. This one I probably would have got half and half on that. So I wouldn't have made as much money as I wanted in the morning on ES. I usually trade NQ in the morning, NQ, and then ES for the daytime. I would have picked up this one. So I potentially could have gotten my on ES would be $500 a contract is what I try to get. So if I'm trading ES, instead of like NQ, I might trade 10 contracts. I might trade 20 on ES. So that would have still got my $10,000 on these right here, and I could be done. Now, if I didn't do it, then I could also get it right here. So again, the opening, when you get the opening, trading on the range bars, it seems to actually work better, because when you trade the minute bar, it's too chop. It's just way too much. But when you go to the range bar, it seems to help out a lot and to give you a lot better direction and stay in the trades longer. On this one, we're looking, actually this right here, I don't know why I have two there. That one would be gone, and this would actually go all the way up. So just on this one trade right here is $2,200 or a max profit. Now, we all know that you're not going to make $2,200 on that, because it depends on where your exact entry is. And you're probably not going to get the very tip top, because for one, it has to go one tick over. So if you just think about 75% of the trade, you can usually get 75%. 60 to 75% is pretty common for what the whole run is, if you're trading correctly. So you could have all your money that you wanted right here pretty easy. And then again, we've got chop through here, but we're going to have to go down to lower dollar amounts. This one here, you probably would have broke even or probably lost money. And this one, actually that one, you wouldn't have been in anyway. I must have these on another time frame that I was looking at. But as far as the money, you could have already made all your money right here and been done and not even trade the afternoon. But you still, if you missed all this and come in the afternoon, you can still get your trades. So let's go to RTY. RTY is pretty smooth. It usually is. It's usually not very choppy. RTY is a very good one to trade. This one, you would not have made, well, I would not have made all my money in the morning, because Didn't happen. There's only one trade. I got 180. RTY is very slow overnight. It usually don't pick up until the open. So RTY, whenever you trade it's usually during the open. This one right here is 14.35. It's only $500 a trade. So, $500 is what you'd be looking at per contract, and you almost got 3 times right there. You would have picked up a little here, probably ended up break-even trade on this one. You made a little bit there, but for the most part, you had one trade on RTY last Friday, and that was all. RTY usually at open will either take off or drop. It's almost immediate. So on this one, we started going up right here. We broke out over that, so 932, and it took off. So usually you will have your either your long or your short right at the opening. And then once it happens up until about 10 or 10:30, you will usually get some chop and maybe a reversal or so forth. So this one played out just like it always does. So RTY is actually a pretty good one, but it is slower, but it's steady. That's the one thing about RTY, it's steady money. So let's go over to YM. YM was kind of chop Friday. It had some pretty good runs, like this one right here. This was at 5 in the morning. I usually start about 6, but I saw this, I went ahead and included it. I definitely would not have been up at 4 in the morning, but if you would have, maybe you do get up then. 4 in the morning, that first one right there, 7:45. $500 a contract. If you can double your investment, that's a good day. So if you're trading one contract and you make $500 on a $500 investment, that's good money. So if you want more money, a lot of times you just need to do 2 contracts or whatever kind of trade that you like to do. But there's 745. Here's 1290. Let's just say we missed those all together. This one's at 758. There's 545. So double your investment. And this one almost doubled the investment, real close to it. And this one probably would end up being a break even, if not a loss. So you might have lost a little bit there. And the same thing with this one here. So you had a little bit of chop in here. You would have made money on this one. And then right here is another one of, let's see there. Yeah, it's 275. So you come in there, there's some better ones in there. Actually, no, this one from here to here is 480. So again, all of these settings are included. If we went over to the open would be right here. So you would have been in this right here, kind of choppy, but you still could have pulled out a little bit of money out of there. This one right here is 575. Right here is another 650. And again, if what you're trying to do, what I try to do is double my investment. If I'm going to trade $500 contract on this, I'm looking to try to get my $500. Once I get my 500, I'm kind of done with it. And as long as you can double your investment every day, you're going to make a lot of money doing that. You just have to have the right arsenal of tools in order to make that happen. And Angular is the choice that I believe you should do. Right here's a $1,500 one at the end of the day. Actually, that's the middle of the day. Then if we come back over and look at some more of these, and actually that was on Thursday, this one's on Friday. If we go back to Friday and look, so my day would start about right here. I probably wouldn't have got that one. So my day would have started in here. When I see these lines lining up like this, that's a good indication probably ought to not be in there. And I'm going to start drawing out the chop zone. So what I'll usually do is I will draw my zone, which is from here to here. And then when it comes out, I don't get in. I wait for it to pull back and then hop in. So my first trade on this one would probably be right here. And I would have tripled my money on this one. So, but that's what I ended up doing on my trading. That should help with anything that you do. You go back through the day, you can still pick up some little money in here. And the end of the day, like we said, is usually, it'll either take off or drop down, one of the two. Usually at the end of the day, it doesn't keep on going sideways. This right here is accumulation. And you can't necessarily go where this is accumulating up. You can't believe that that's going to go up. In this case, it did. But a lot of times it will be accumulating up and then it will just tank. So you can't really just go by the direction right here. You just got to kind of play it out. But I would have made my money in the morning on this. So it really kind of depends on what you want to do and how you want to trade. As far as the signals and so forth, if I open this, and if I go into the angular, then I'm going to show you, I won't show the settings on it. The ones that you just saw were not even this one, but if you don't want to see your histogram, you can turn that off. You just click on that and it will disappear. And if you want your histogram back, you turn it back on. And then your color bars, where this is going with according to the histogram. So this is green, that's green. If you want to turn that off and just use regular candles, regular bars, you can. Now it's just going to be a up or down bar. And I like the color bars on it personally. You can also do the whole background. Instead of seeing a one bar like this, you can do the one bar, or you can make the whole thing turn. So maybe you want to have the up down bars, which would be taking those off, and you want to see the bearish and bullish candles so that you can kind of trade it, but you want to have the background for wherever the histogram is showing. So this is showing long, so maybe you go ahead and bring it up here and get your stop in a little tighter, whichever. So it kind of depends on how you want to trade, but it's showing that it should be green, long the whole time. Those colors on there, you can actually change. So if you, let's say we do the color bars again, and I'm going to change that forest green to a Dodger blue. So that will change the colors of them. So you can change that. You can also change the histogram. So if you want the histogram to be the same, then you can change that. And they're all separate, even this background. So if you do the background, which would be this one, you can make them all the same if you want, or you can make them separate. You can do whatever you want to do. So that helps you out. So I am going to turn this back to where I had it. There we go. So this is the way I have mine set up, and I do supply those settings on the website inside the course. We also talk about different settings that we're trying to find. So Angular is going to be my baby that we will just keep on trying to improve. It's going to be hard to do that. It's already really good, but there's always improvement that can happen to anything. And so I'm going to spend my time on this one. I will more than likely create a bot for it, but the bot will work that you have to lease the indicator. If you already lease SpyBot, and you would have to lease the indicator, and then the bot would come with it. If you do not lease the SpyBot and you want the bot separate, then you can lease this, and then for a smaller amount of money, you can lease the bot with it. And you won't have access to all the other bots unless you pay for the SpyBot lease, but a smaller fee, you can get the bot for this one. So this is going to be a separate indicator and bot altogether. So this is how this will work. But it works really well. The YM is trades really well. I've tried it on oil, and oil, if you put it on a 3-minute, it'll sometimes work, but I'm not real set on trading on CL right now. I have to play around with that and get some different settings. But here's 4 instruments that you can trade. You've got NQ, ES, RTY, YM straight out of the box. As soon as you lease the indicator, you get the settings for it. So it's just a matter of waiting on you for what you want to do. How you do this is, let me pull this up. Now my website, I've been changed some things on it. So There's a few things that we're working on with it, but what you want to do is go to products and come down here to NinjaTrader 8 products. When you click on that, you've got the Angular right here. It's $800 a month. You can also lease, or not lease, but buy the other indicators that I use with it, which I'm going to show you how that works. But if you go to the Spy Money Angular, click on that. It's $800 a month at the time of this website, or the time of the video. It gives you some information on it. I'm going to go ahead and put a video on here as well, which is there's 2 videos I use. I'm going to go ahead and put those on the website today. And so as you can watch, this will be one. But the Angular is very, very good. Now, what I want to do, well, if you got any questions, you can contact me. Click contact here. And when you do that, fill out this information. I get that email, and then I'll be the one to contact you back. So the next one I'm going to show you, there's 2 things I want to show you. And I'm going to show you on NQ. I like it real well. And let's just go back to the open. This is right here is usually what everybody trades up until about 10 or 11 o'clock. So I'm going to show you this one. So whenever I go in here, I'm going to go ahead and add 2 indicators. And one is the balance. And I'm going to add it first and then show it to you. The way the balance works is it has London levels and US levels. The London will be from like before 9:30 in the morning, and then after 9:30, then it will be these levels. So what we're going to do is we're going to trade. If we're trading, we're looking, like say an entry here, our exit, we're looking to go here, which it hit. Almost, I mean, probably 98 or 98% of the time, it will go to that level. Now, that's not to say that it won't go up, pull way back down here, and then go up and pull way back up, but it will almost every time eventually go to there. So on this particular one, you would have between them is $3,000. Now, your entry would have been right at the top of that, and right there is $29.85. So call it $3,000 where possibly you could be. Now this one, you had an entry there, it pulled right back down to it and then took off. So if you use the balance and the Angular together, it'll help you find where it's going to go. Now if we come on back up and start looking over here, now this is one of the times it never actually hit the top up there. But look what happened. We went up, we pulled it down, we stayed along through here, and then we eventually hit it. So if you would have entered along, and let's just say you entered this one, and you put your profit target there, you would eventually got that. Almost every single time it will do that. So right there is $3,400. So if you incorporate the balance with this, and the balance you can purchase on the website, it's $4.99. You can buy that, it's yours forever. And once you do that, and then you lease the Angular, these 2 are killer together. Now I'm going to show you one more that actually works really well with it. And it's called the Spy Money Zones. Now the Spy Money Zones works in a way where you can choose the time frame that you want the zones. Now on this particular one, I'm using 5 minutes for the time, the zones, and it lets you know where the zones are for that particular instrument. And you have to go back. I've got this one in a smaller time frame because, or days. If you're going to use this, you're better off to go back. If you're using it on, say, 5 minutes, you're better off to go back, say, 20 days or more on your chart. Now, when you do that, it kind of slows you down a little bit because you've got more data on here. And sometimes it'll slow you down a little. If you're looking to trade based on these signals, as far as your time frame, you can do that as well. Now, I'm going to show you 2 different ways here. This one, it created the zone here, and then when it come down and popped in, this come out, that allows you to have some confirmation that this is probably going to go on up. We're breaking our spy money balance, and we're also breaking the spy money zone. So we're coming out of that. So that's confirmation that we're probably going to go up to here. Now, if you see this red one, it's the opacity is lower now because we broke through it. Once we break through, then it goes to a dim color. Whereas this one's brighter, so that means the zone is still in effect. Until we break through it, that zone will stay like that. So with this one, we have our entries here, and then we go up. We're looking to go right here, which is roughly $3,000 between these two. But once we hit it and we had this confirmation, you can be done and out. You wouldn't even have to trade any of this over here. But let's just say you did, and it actually, I showed you, it actually went to the second level. So let me show you another way you can trade this, and I put this to where it's showing the time frame that we're using. So now our zones changed. So as it goes up, it is actually breaking through the zones of this time frame. So if you're trading this time frame only, sometimes that's good to do because it's more scalper. But if you put it on a 5-minute chart, the zones, then it will give you zones that are further away, and then you can trade to those zones like we just showed you. So on this one, it actually worked out pretty good, but as it goes through the day, we're seeing more zones, and then on this one, we come off right over here, and maybe you stayed in this trade the whole time off of this long. So on this long, your drawdown would have been off of there, right there, so 220 drawdown. So that is well within the limits of holding. So if you got in right here, and let's just say you held out, okay? You went in, actually, no, the drawdown would be a little more because it's right here. 275. So we're still within the 15 points. Usually 15 points is what I like to hold on the NQ. So you're still within your limit. So you would have stayed in on this one, and it went up, come through. Maybe you took your profit up there. Then it come back down, went through. We're looking to go right here. So let's just say that you did get in right here, and you took it all the way to the house, as we call it. There's 2275. But look up here. This is the zone. If there's a zone above this part, I will usually put a profit target up there, and then when it breaks through, I'll bring my stop to the balance. So this is what I'm trading with. That's the only thing on my chart. I only have the zones, which is not on the website yet. I'm going to put it on today. The zones indicator, and I also have the balance indicator, which gives them my better levels. And then I have my angular, which I use for my entries. So I'm using angular for entry. I'm using the balance for my levels, and I'm using my zones to see what we're clearing through. These zones help me know where the supply and demand is. So whenever it starts coming up, you can see this one come up and hit it, and it just kind of kept coming back and forth, and finally it broke through, and then it broke through that one. Once it started breaking through, I'm looking for this up here, the balance. So the balance is very important to use. I think that no matter what you use, the balance ought to be on there. The angular works great for your entries. It gives a more confirmed entry, and I like it a lot. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you. Again, you can go to the website, go right up here, hit your contact button. We can hit your contact, and there you go. And you send that to me. I'll get the message. Up here, if you go to products, we have the angular is right here, and you can do the balance is right here, and then the zones I do not have on there yet. That'll be on there sometime today. So just look for it. But and on the front of the homepage, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on there and have all three of them there. So there'll be like 3 links that you can do. So when you come in here at the top, it's going to be about the angular, and I'll put the other two, the balance and the zones link on it. It'll be like sort of like this one right here, but there'll be 3 different buttons going across here. So it'll help you find it easier. Have any questions, you let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you. Again, we're looking at the Angular indicator. It is a lease only. It is not open for purchase. It's lease only. Possible bot coming soon, which will be an additional lease on top of that to help you. The bot will actually make the entry for you. Have a great day.